you ever hear that saying? The last job is never the last job. Yeah, Marco DeLuca used to laugh at that. Until the night everything went wrong. This isn't just another Mafia story. This is about loyalty, betrayal, and a shipment that was never meant to arrive. Marco DeLuca wasn't born into power. He earned it. Started off as a street runner in Brooklyn. Small errands, small risks, small money. But Marco had something most men in that life didn't: patience. And in the Mafia world, patience can be more dangerous than a gun. By the time he turned 35, Marco wasn't just another guy in a suit. He was the man people called when things needed to disappear or arrive, especially shipments. And that's how he got pulled into the last one. It started with a call, late night, unknown number. Marco almost didn't pick it up. But something told him, this one mattered. Marco, the voice said, calm and cold, we need you for one final shipment. That voice belonged to Don Vittorio, the boss of bosses, a man who never asked twice. Marco met him the next night, in a quiet warehouse by the docks. No guards, no noise, just shadows. That's how powerful men talk, without witnesses. The shipment arrives in 3 days, Vittorio said. You make sure it gets through. Marco frowned. What's in it? Vittorio paused, then smiled. Something worth more than your entire career. That should have been the first red flag. But in that world, curiosity gets buried under loyalty. Marco nodded. I'll handle it. And just like that, the job began. Something felt off immediately. The route kept changing. The crew was different. New faces, quiet, watchful. Even Luca, Marco's right-hand man, seemed distant. Marco pulled him aside one night. You trust this job? Marco asked. Luca hesitated. That hesitation said everything. I trust you, Luca replied. Not the job, not the boss, just Marco. That was the second red flag. Then came the message. Anonymous. Just 3 words. It's a setup. Marco stared at the screen for a long time. In this life, paranoia keeps you alive, but doubt gets you killed. Still, he couldn't ignore it. So he did something dangerous. He started asking questions. And in the Mafia, asking questions is like digging your own grave. Marco tracked the shipment manifest. What he found didn't make sense. No product listing, no origin, no final destination. Just one label, internal transfer. That's when it hit him. This wasn't about moving goods. This was about moving someone. Or worse, getting rid of someone. Marco confronted Luca again. This time, Luca didn't dodge. You need to walk away, Luca said quietly. Marco's jaw tightened. From Vittorio? Luca looked him dead in the eye. From this life. If you still can. Too late for that. Way too late. Marco realized something chilling. This wasn't just a job. It was a test. Or an execution. And he didn't know which role he was playing. The night of the shipment arrived. Rain poured over the docks. Perfect cover, perfect silence. Marco stood there, watching the container being unloaded. Something inside him said, "Don't open it." But he did. And everything changed. Inside wasn't money, wasn't weapons. It was a man, beaten, barely breathing. And Marco recognized him instantly. It was Angelo Ricci, a former capo, a man who disappeared months ago, a man who knew too much. Marco stepped back. That's when the guns clicked behind him. He didn't even need to turn around. He knew. Luca. "Tell me it's not you," Marco said quietly. Silence. Then, "I'm sorry." That was enough. Everything slowed down. Rain hitting the ground, men holding their breath, guns aimed. This was it, the final move. But Marco wasn't a survivor by luck. He was a survivor because he planned for betrayal. Always. In one swift motion, gunfire erupted, chaos, screams, smoke. Marco moved like a ghost through the confusion. When it was over, bodies covered the ground. The shipment was gone. And so was Marco. Some say he fled the country. Others say he started a new life under a different name. But in the Mafia world, legends don't disappear. They wait. And if there's one thing we know about men like Marco DeLuca, it's this. The last shipment? It's never really the last.